When I opened the envelope at her birthday party, she didn't look shocked. She looked tired, like someone who had been carrying a secret for so long that the exposure almost felt like relief. But the room didn't feel relief. It felt like collapse. Because in less than 10 seconds, a 10-year marriage shattered in front of 40 people. And the worst part? This didn't start with suspicion. It started with trust. 5 years earlier, when our son was born, I cried holding him. I remember thinking, this is what permanence feels like. He had dark hair. She said it came from her grandfather. He had lighter eyes. She said, babies change. I believed everything. Because when you love someone, you don't analyze every detail. You build a future. And for 5 years, that's what I thought we were doing. Building something solid. Until I found the receipt. Not a message. Not lipstick. Not a strange phone call. A receipt for a DNA test. Ordered 3 weeks after our son was born. Not discussed. Not mentioned. Not explained. Just hidden. And that was the moment everything shifted. Not because I knew the truth, but because I realized there was a version of my life I wasn't allowed to see. I didn't confront her. Not that week. Not that month. Instead, I started watching. And when you start watching closely, you see things you wish you hadn't. Every time someone said, "He looks just like you," she corrected them. "No, he has my side's features." Every time I joked about teaching him to play baseball, she'd say, "Well, let's see if he's even athletic." Small comments, subtle distancing, like she was slowly detaching me from something I thought was mine. At night, when she thought I was asleep, she would scroll on her phone for hours. Once I heard her whispering in the kitchen. When I walked in, she said it was her cousin. I didn't push, because pushing gave her power. And I was starting to understand something dangerous. If she hid a DNA test, what else was she capable of hiding? That question sat in my chest for months. Heavy, quiet, growing. And the worst part? I started doubting myself. Maybe I was paranoid. Maybe I was creating a narrative. Maybe I was about to destroy my own marriage over insecurity. That's what she always told me. You overthink. You spiral. You imagine problems. And slowly, she turned my doubt into guilt. Until one night, I went back to that drawer, and the receipt was gone. That's when I knew. She knew I had seen it. The removal wasn't accidental. It was defensive. So I stopped hesitating. I ordered my own DNA test. Different clinic, different city. Cash payment. I didn't even use our home address. I had it delivered to a P.O. box. The envelope arrived on a Thursday. I stared at it for hours, because there are moments in life where ignorance feels safer, but clarity feels necessary. When I finally opened it, I felt my heartbeat in my ears. Probability of paternity, 0%. Not low, not unlikely. 0. And what shocked me most wasn't the result. It was the calm. Because somewhere deep inside, I had already prepared for it. 5 years of subtle behavior. 5 years of emotional redirection. 5 years of narrative control. It wasn't an accident. It was maintenance. She maintained a lie. And I decided that night I would maintain my composure. Most people would explode, scream, throw things, demand answers. I did none of that. Instead, I started planning. I met with a lawyer quietly. I asked about custody. I asked about property. I asked what happens when a child is not biologically yours, but legally recognized as such. I separated finances. I documented everything. Dates, conversations, screenshots. Because revenge without preparation is just chaos. And I didn't want chaos. I wanted precision. Her 35th birthday was coming. big party. Friends flying in, her parents visiting. She loved being celebrated. She loved attention. She loved public admiration. So I gave her exactly that. I volunteered to organize everything. The venue, the catering, the slideshow, the speeches. She called me the perfect husband that week. That almost made me laugh. I edited the slideshow myself. 10 years of photos. Our wedding, hospital pictures, family trips, smiling faces. And at the very end of the slideshow, I inserted one blank slide. No one noticed, not even her. The night of the party, she looked radiant, laughing, drinking champagne, telling people how lucky she was. I watched her move around the room, confident, relaxed, untouchable, and I realized something. She truly believed the lie was buried forever. After the cake, after the candles, after everyone sang, I stood up with a glass in my hand. I just want to say something, I smiled. The room quieted. She wrapped her arm around me. I could smell her perfume. Familiar, comfortable, temporary. I have one more surprise. People clapped. She laughed. I nodded to the DJ. The slideshow resumed. Wedding photo, baby photo, vacation photo. Then the blank slide appeared. And then, the scanned DNA result. Huge, on the projector. 0% match. The room froze. Someone whispered, "What is that?" I took the microphone, and I read it. Slowly. Probability of paternity, 0%. She let go of my arm. Not dramatically, just gently. Like gravity had changed. Her mother stood up first. "This is not funny." My brother stared at her. Not me. Her. Because deep down, everyone knew this wasn't random. She didn't scream. She didn't deny it. She just whispered, "I was gonna tell you." 5 years. She was gonna tell me. The room exploded into arguments. People taking sides. Accusations. Shock. And I stayed calm. Because I had already lived this moment 100 times in my head. This wasn't rage. It was closure. She left that night with her sister. The decorations stayed up. Half the guests left without saying goodbye. The cake was untouched. The next morning, she texted me, "I never meant to hurt you." Intent doesn't erase deception. We are divorcing. Her family is divided. Some blame me for doing it publicly. Some blame her for doing it privately. But here's what people don't understand. It wasn't about humiliation. It was about balance. She controlled the narrative for 5 years. I controlled the ending for 5 minutes. And my son? He's still my son. Because biology doesn't erase bedtime stories. But trust doesn't survive calculated silence. And sometimes the most devastating revenge isn't violence. It isn't shouting. It isn't destruction. It's patience. It's timing. It's choosing the exact room where the lie has nowhere left to hide.